Hi, I'm Dr. Khorsandi from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm a plastic surgeon. And through the iSocial Mentor program, I'm here to answer some of your questions. One of the questions I've been asked is whether or not I myself had a mentor in the process of becoming a plastic surgeon. Certainly throughout the entire process, from college to med school to residency, there have been different people along the way that have mentored me. Along the path, there are different sort of stages, and your mentors generally will be the people around that stage who've been through the process before. In medical school, it was the chairman of the plastic surgery department. In residency, it was some of the older residents who had gone before me. And then in practice, it was some more veteran plastic surgeons who have been practicing for many years in the private sector. So everywhere that you look, there's the opportunity to find a mentor within your given field, but you have to be open to it. And I think every step of the way, there was always somebody there for me myself. So that's why I want to share this as my ability to give you mentoring for your career. I've been asked what it takes to get into one of the combined undergrad BS-MD programs in which you're basically accepted into medical school out of high school. These programs are growing across the country, trying to fast track students who know that they want to become doctors into the medical school program. To become competitive for these programs, obviously a good grade point average in high school matters. SAT scores matter, but also an interest within the field of science and specifically medicine matters as well. In my high school career, I was involved in philanthropic things that were related to the field of medicine. Specifically, I was very involved with the Muscular Dystrophy Association and chaired a committee that raised a substantial amount of money through our high school for the organization. Commitments to philanthropic organizations that parallel medicine do help. But overall, I believe that the selection criteria is based on a maturity level. The programs want to find a person that is capable of handling the rigors of medicine and acceptable to the medical school at face value as an individual that would be a good addition to the medical community. It doesn't matter what field you choose to go into, and you may not know exactly what part of medicine that you want to be part of. But maturity, I think, is the most important factor that doesn't relate to grades. Are you the type of person that that interviewer would feel comfortable putting their life in your hands? So basically, it's a lot of things, but part of it is understanding yourself. The question that was presented is, what is it like on the interview process for the dual degree program, basically your undergraduate and MD program? The interview process varies from university to university, but essentially it's a full day interview between both the college and the medical school. On the college side, it's basically your standard college admission interview, but on the medical school side, it's a little bit more rigorous. Multiple professors will interview you and a consensus opinion will be formed on your suitability for the program. Grade point average, again, will factor into it, SAT scores, recommendations, ancillary activities and extracurricular activities, and maturity of the candidate. The process generally takes a full day and may occur between the two campuses or may take 2 different days between the two different campuses. Nevertheless, it's a interesting process, somewhat grueling, but worthwhile. It'll give you a lot of insight into what the different programs are looking for and give you insight into what type of candidacy you make. So the process, just like anything else, will take time, include a number of different interviews, and be nerve-wracking, but you'll do fine. The question is whether or not you need to take the MCAT if you're involved in a dual degree program, such as a BS-MD program. In my particular program, we were required to take the MCATs. At the outset of the program, when we were accepted into the program, there was a minimum cutoff for scores that was dictated. We were required to get a minimum of 10s on the MCAT to matriculate from the college to the medical school. Other programs may vary. Their score cutoffs and the requirements for taking the MCAT may differ. But as far as I understand, all medical schools require MCAT examination for admission. One of the extracurricular activities that I was involved in medical school was creating a student chapter of Operation Smile at my medical school. Operation Smile is a worldwide organization which provides cleft lip and palate services and reconstructive surgery to children around the globe in underserved areas. Operation Smile was the brainchild of Bill and Ann McGee, who founded the principles of the organization almost 30 years ago on a medical mission to the Philippines. The organization has since grown and incorporated a number of different centers, and it's one of the most satisfying things that a surgeon can do, to lend their skills to those who couldn't possibly afford them, and in places where those skills are at a scarcity. Operation Smile, from a student perspective, was a support role. We as students raised money for the organization through numerous philanthropic events and had the opportunity to participate as a student ambassador on a mission. The selection criteria was set forth by Operation Smile. Candidacy was based on a first come, first served basis, and we were able to potentially join a mission overseas and provide support services. I thought it was a worthwhile endeavor, and I still continue to support international charities. And today, myself, I help to chair an organization called Miracle Flights. Miracle Flights serves over 1,000 individual patients a month with free flights from underserved areas to specialized medical centers for individualized medical care and rare diseases. Making philanthropic drives part of your medical profession, I believe, is a cornerstone of medicine itself. While we have the privilege of working in a country that has resources, there are areas even within our own country that do not have the access to health care that we would expect. As a physician, you're not only a member of your local community, you're a member of the international community at large. So early organizational work for medical school, I think, is important for your future career as well. And Operation Smile, for me, was the path that I felt was most suitable to my career goals. The question is, how did my study habits change throughout my career? Study habits are based on a discipline, and each individual will come up with their own way of working through the course material. For me, it was a continuous, just slow moving through the process of reading, comprehending, and understanding that drove me to better grades. I pulled my share of all-nighters the night before exams, but mostly I thought that learning was a process and that it didn't happen in a short period of time. Participation in class, reading and comprehending what I had read was really an ongoing process from the day we stepped foot in the classroom to the day we took the exam. Now, as things get more intense in medical school, they say it's like drinking from a fire hose. The amount of information that's coming at you is almost too much to process. At that time, you have to become selective of what you spend your time on and move quickly through material that doesn't seem to be at the core of the subject matter. In this way that you're able to assume and subsume the information in a more efficient manner and get to the heart of the information at hand. Study will vary based on subject, and some things you're just going to get very easy, and some things are just going to take a lot of studying. Everybody's different, and we all have our strong and weak points. Nobody's born a great student. It's about discipline. So my general surgery training was at UPenn, an Ivy League training program, which picked about 6 to 8 residents out of a pool of 1,000 per year, which was a highly selective program. So the question becomes, how does one get into a very selective sort of surgery program, plastic surgery program? And it comes down to a number of factors. Yes, grade scores, step 1, 2, and 3 matter. But when it came down to my clinical rotations, I think those are the things that really made a difference in terms of my recommendations and my character that made me suitable for a program that was very rigorous. Usually the better programs are the harder programs, and that's not something you should fear. When I was looking at surgery programs, this was one of those programs that was considered to be a quote-unquote malignant surgery program, being a very difficult place to work, very hard work environment. But I didn't let that deter me from finding a path into this program. And when it came down to working as a 3rd and 4th year student on clinical rotations, especially in surgery, I was always a yes type of person, meaning that if they asked me to stay late, it was always a yes. Not because that was some sort of trick that I was pulling, but because I really was interested. If I had the opportunity to scrub into a case, I would. I didn't look at the clock. I didn't look to punch out at 5 p.m. when my day was over. I was there with the team from the moment they got there. In fact, I was the first person there in the morning and generally the last person to leave. And I took a lot of call when I didn't have to. And what that demonstrated to the chair and the general surgery department attendings was that I had a dedication like they did. Because it's not easy to get through a general surgery program. It's not easy to get through plastic surgery. And the last thing they want to do is have somebody start and fall and drop out halfway through it. It creates a big problem for the program. Filling that position is not easy. So they want to know that somebody's going to start and complete the program. And that takes dedication. And there's no better way to show dedication than being dedicated as a medical student. Show up first, leave last, and give it your all. And always say yes. Yes to the work, yes to the extra time, yes to the opportunities, and you'll be successful. So I have a large social media presence, and the question is how has that affected my bottom line in terms of my practice? As you may know, social media is really a driving force in the world, and without a social media presence, you could be successful, but with a social media presence, it's like a turbocharger for your practice. It helps you to kind of get your message across different spectrums and different demographics of people. And my reach has now become global, meaning that I may get patients from as far away as Moscow and Saudi Arabia, South America, Canada. Essentially, every single person on this planet could be a potential patient. And that's something that we haven't been able to do before. Not even with Google and the internet. Typically, those searches are made in a local space, and social media transcends those boundaries. So as far as reach, I think social media has put me on the global map. As far as the following, it's nice to have a following, but you have to have something important to give them. Without content, social media is just basically a nice little pinboard of pictures. It doesn't really get you anywhere. But what we do in our social media is we try to create an exciting world, educate, show them the fun side of our plastic surgery practice, and sometimes, some of the difficult challenges that we face. It's about conveying a real message of what this job is like. And I think there's an audience for that. Will there be opportunities for everyone out there to be in this position? Sure, but in this day and age, it's difficult to get to this point without working hard. Nothing happens overnight, including a social media following. We've been working at this for several years. We'll be working at this for as long as we can, project in the future. Nothing comes easy, including a following. So put your time in, create great content, educate, fascinate, and resonate. The question is, if you can perform plastic surgery on any one person in the world, who would it be? That's a very interesting question. And I have to say there's not a particular person where I say, I want to work on them. It's not like a canvas, or it's not like it's not an old car that you're restoring. It's a person. And if you ask me, who's the person that I want to work on most? It's the person that believes in me. William Osler, one of the fathers of modern surgery, had a sign over his door. Those who do not believe in me may turn back now. Now, it probably wouldn't work in this day and age, but the idea is right. He wanted patients that believed in his caring, his ethic, his dedication to the science. And as a physician and a plastic surgeon, the best patient is the one that believes in you. I've been asked that question, that if a studio were to approach me for a reality TV show, would I say yes? And what the name would be? Well, certainly having a forum on a reality show is a great thing. It could be very intrusive, but I think I would say yes to it. And as far as the name, I would go with something very simple: Doc Vegas. As a final thought, I've been asked whether or not there's any particular wisdom or experience or some pearl that I can share that will help you get to this point. And I was asked once by somebody on social media what it takes to be a good plastic surgeon. And it's very simple. You need to master art, psychology, biology, medicine, business, and you have to be caring. Get all those down right, and you'll be good at this. It's not easy. It takes a lot. And there's no particular one path to getting to here, whether you come from an arts or a science background or a business background. To be good at this business and this profession, it requires a synthesis of all different types of skills. You have to understand your patient. You have to care about them. You have to understand the medicine that underlies all the things that we do. You have to be able to be good at business to make sure that you keep your staff well paid, to pay the lights, pay the bills, pay the cost for the surgery. And then you actually have to be technically good. You have to be able to see things, envision the outcome, and create them with your two hands. And I think of all the things, that's the one that takes the longest to really train and hone and discipline. All the others can be taught, but appreciation for beauty is a lifelong pursuit. And even today, I still search for the meaning of beauty in things. So to be good at this, it's a lot of things. It's not one. So become a student of many things, and you'll do well in this field. Thank you.